Hello, my fabulous people. I'm back again on another lipstick, lip balm, and literacy virtual book reading series here on Facebook. And I do have a super fabulous author for you today. She's none other than Wendy Barnes, the author of And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Again, welcome to Lipstick, Lip Balm, and Literacy virtual book reading series here on Facebook. And I have a super fabulous author for you. She is none other than Wendy Barnes. She is the author of And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. She is a national speaker on human trafficking, using her own experiences to educate and empower audiences in fighting against exploitation. Her story illustrates how she was abused as a young person and vulnerable to trafficking, and it serves as an example for freedom and restoration. And her book is a memoir that you can get to learn more about how she has turned her experience into a tool that is being used to educate the community and also empowering others. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, Wendy. I'm really honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure it's an honor that you asked me to join you today.
Thanks. So, how we roll on the show? We're going to take away some housekeeping stuff. So, can we know what you are wearing for your lipstick or lip balm? What are you wearing?
So, so I have to say, so about 6 years ago, I had the perfect color lipstick. Perfect color. I was so happy with it. I finally found one. I accidentally lost it.
Oh
And I
no.
have not been able to find it since. I couldn't remember the name of it. So I have not been happy with any lipstick color since then. But so what I have on, I have two different kinds. One is called caramel latte. So
Wow.
it sounds good to drink.
Yes.
and then the other one is crushed rose. So I put one on and then I put the other one on, hoping, but like I'm looking at my picture now, you can barely see that I'm even wearing any lipstick. So I'm still not happy with it. One of these days I'll go and really find the perfect lipstick for me.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you on that about finding the perfect lipstick. It took me a long time too, and I actually went on YouTube and watched some videos, and then started, trying different ones until I was able to find a way to kind of use a lipstick that I like, because I like my lipstick to be loud. I like to come in with an announcement without
Yeah.
saying anything.
Your lipstick always looks great, and it usually matches your outfit. It always matches your outfit, and I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. So today I'm still wearing, I call this one I'm wearing today as my uniform lipstick. I wear it a lot. And I'm still wearing Mary Kay Love Me Pink. And it's specifically produced to create awareness on domestic violence. So I think that kind of drew me in a lot, because I'm almost down on it. See, it's like I need to I
Time to
only
get
got it
more.
like a few months ago. I think it's just about 2 or 3 months ago that I got it, and it's almost gone. And I've had this for like almost a year now or so. And this one is almost gone too. But this one, I've used it for long time too. And this one is Maybelline, and it's Sapphire Siren. That's the name, and the color is 835. I got it from Walmart. So I always do the ombre, because for me too, sometimes, when I use lipstick, it feels like it's not showing. But when I started mixing it this way, I realized it started showing more, and I love that. So I just stuck to that. So, and then, before we go ahead, I want to acknowledge everyone joining us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please share this broadcast, invite your friends to come in and learn about also the process of our book, and of course about a topic area expertise is in human trafficking. So come and learn more here. So share the broadcast. And then the second thing we're going to get out of the way is music. You know, this is a fun show. As much as we discuss very important topic, we all also want to do it in a way that it's not so tense. We want to do it in a relaxing way, so we can really pass that information across in a way that everybody can take it well. Hey, my BFF Peg, thanks for coming in. So the music, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
And you can dance
I better
however
back up
you
a little
like.
bit. Can't even see me.
If you like, sit down. However, it's fine. Um, Give me thumbs up if you can hear it loud enough. Oh, great. Oh, Dr. Tyler, thanks for coming in. Oh, yeah. Higher, higher, higher. I lift your name higher. I lift your name higher.
Oh, turn it up more. Get down.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I lift your name higher. I am that I am. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, you love this song. Nice, nice. I'm still waiting for her to send me the song so I can send it to you guys. All things are possible with you. All things are possible. Glory and honor are bring to you. Even to your feet. Higher, 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 higher.
There.
I just pinned the song.
My dog is looking at me. She's like staring at me going, why are you dancing? She's like, oh, she's getting all excited. Come here, Panda. Come here.
Oh, hi, cutie.
Dancing. Hello.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
He dance.
Hi, hi. Good morning, Karina. Thank you so much for coming in.
Say hello. Okay, there you go.
Welcome to Lipstick, Lip Balm, and Literacy virtual book reading series here on Facebook. The goal of the show is to inspire and educate for those who want to do their books and don't know how to, and also those who have books but they're struggling with their books, and learn one or two things from those who have done their books. And this show has transformed into a magazine. It's called L Magazine. Lipstick, Lip Balm, and Literacy is just what we call L Magazine. And it was launched last weekend. So go check it out on my page here or online. And also, if you would like to be a featured author on this show, please feel free to contact me or look at the links. And you can come on the show. And our author today is Wendy Barnes. She is the author of And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. She is a national speaker on human trafficking, educating and empowering others with her own experiences and creating all different kinds of educational tools for allies, for members of the public, and also survivors. So she's going to be talking to us this morning about the book And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. So thank you so much, Wendy, for coming on the show again.
You are most welcome.
Hello, Wendy. Thanks. So,
yes.
even though I said a little bit about your bio here, can we learn a little more about who Wendy is?
You want to know more about me?
Yes. Who is
okay.
Wendy?
So
we want it in your own words.
In my own words, a little bit about me. I mean, Sarah, I'm kind. I'm very compassionate and caring. I'm actually an introvert. I'm very shy until you get to know me. You know, I mean, when I first meet people, I'm very, very shy, even to the point of being awkward. But then once somebody gets to know me and my heart, once I feel safe around that person, I open up and I can be more, authentic and genuine. And not that I'm not genuine and authentic when I'm uncomfortable, but yeah. So see how uncomfortable? I'm just me.
Thank you so much. And please, Wendy's book and life continues. The link is on the description of this video above. You can go and get your copy. And if you are watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description below. And if you are watching at home, the link is on your TV screen. Just follow that link and go get your own copy. So, Wendy, what informed the title of your book and life continues? Before we even get to the subtitle, and life continues, what informed that title?
Um, that came to me. I believe there was a movie. It was Life Goes On. Um, I remember it was the HIV crisis in the late 80s, early 90s. There was a movie I remember I watched. I hope and pray I'm not, I believe it was called And Life Goes On or something like that. And that really touched my heart. And so I tried to come up with something that, was similar to that. And so when I came up with And Life Continues, it was like, oh my God, and I wasn't really thinking that was going to be the title of my book as much that was going to be my phrase for life. So like when I get down, when I get depressed, when I feel like life is just not going, I would just start saying to myself, and life continues. It continues on, just make the best of it.
Wow, that is so powerful. And this book is a memoir.
Yes.
What made you pen a memoir about what you experienced?
Well, so it kind of goes into a long story, but I'll try and make it kind of short. So in 1999, I was sentenced to 23 months in prison. The prison that I was going to had a 1-year alcohol and drug treatment program within the prison. And so it was a special closed off location for 50 women. So you're still inside the prison, but you're also doing this very intensive drug and alcohol treatment program. Part of that program was writing your life story and sharing it with your small group. And I remember they had a typewriter there. They had that old fashioned typewriter and it actually still worked. And I asked them, can I please type it up? And they said yes. And so I just started typing away and typing away. And I remember just days and days of going by, just writing, just emotional throw up, basically just emotionally throwing up on the pages. And it became 40 pages. When I shared it with my small group, everybody afterwards, they just all sat there in shock. And all the feedback was, Wendy, you have to write a book. You have to write a book. And I thought, I don't know anything. I'm sitting in prison. How on earth am I supposed to write a book? I don't know anything about a book. Well, later on, like years went by, and other people, when I would tell my story, people would say, Wendy, you have to write a book. And so I would get inspired. I would start writing, and basically just a lot of emotional throw up on the pages, just remembering the stories. And it would become very overwhelming. So after 2 or 3 months, I would put it away. A couple years later, somebody else would say, Wendy, you need to write a book. So I would continue on. And so this actually so the book wasn't published till 2014. So basically I'd been writing for, almost 13, 14 years. Wow. And it was actually one time I was getting ready to go speak in front of an audience. And there was about 200 people in the audience. And as I was being introduced, I remember my heart was beating out of my chest. I was visibly shaking. I was sweating. I was so nervous. And I remember as I was walking up on the stage, I was thinking, I am, sorry, my dog. I said, you know, I'm going to write my book so I will never have to speak in public again. So I went home with the agenda to, hold on, my dog is, Panda Bear, stop it. So I went home with the agenda to write this book, but then I quickly realized I'm not an editor. I'm not a writer. How do I make this happen? And so I continued to write and write and write until I had probably, I want to say about 800 pages, 800 pages of just emotional throw up. And I don't know what to do with it. What do I do with this? How do I edit it? How do I structure it? How do I make it all come together? And I met a woman at my mom's memorial. I met a woman, one of her friends, and she connected me with Susan, who, so Susan and I started speaking and about my book. She took a look at that 800 pages of emotional throw up and basically said, Wendy, this has to get out into the world. People have to read this. And so she was willing to work with me on it. And we had been working on it for about a year. But I was working a full-time job. So it was really hard for me to, to spend a lot of time on it. And I remember I went to the doctor's one day and just for a regular, woman exam, my yearly woman exam. And they came back with saying, well, you have cancer. And I was like, and it wasn't like this whole shock. It was more like, wait a minute, I have to have a hysterectomy. I said, don't I get 6 weeks off of work? And they were like, yeah, you get 6 weeks off of work. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is awesome. And so we used that, I recovered for about a week, and I used that 5 weeks working with Susan. She is an amazing editor. I can tell you, I bring the stories, and I always say she sprinkles it with her pixie dust to make it magical. And so, whenever people say, Wendy, you're such a great writer, I'm like, nope, that is, yes, I have great stories. Yes, I have the authenticity, but she is the great writer. And so, so we just ended up doing a self-publishing book because we didn't know what we were doing. We were lost in the dark, but we just took one step in front of the other, trying to figure it out. And got it published on Amazon.
Wow. Oh my goodness. First of all, I want to really commend you that you heard that you have cancer and you were happy that, you have a little bit of time to do something.
Yep. When life
that's the first time I'm hearing somebody saying that. Like, okay, I heard this bad news that is supposed to take me home and put me in depression mode. Instead, you were like, oh, this is an opportunity. That is so powerful, because most of the time when we hear bad news, especially about our health, we think the worst instead of looking at the positive side or what we can do positively during that time. So thank you so much. Okay, and then how long did it take you to complete the process to publishing on Amazon?
So once we got it, we had to go through an expert on the formatting because neither of us knew. Create Space had its own requirements of formatting that we were totally lost on. I believe it's easier now today. I believe I've heard that you could actually go in and they format it for you, but they didn't have that back in 2014. So we had to outsource it to be formatted to fit on the pages. I want to say, it wasn't that. Once we had it formatted, you just upload it and go live, and it was like 24 hours later. It was literally like, I didn't even know that it was live. My sister called me and said, Wendy, I just bought your first book. And I was like, you can buy it right now? And she said, yes, I just bought it off of Amazon. I was like, are you serious? And I went on there and looked, and I was like, oh my God.
I want to acknowledge the audience members. Thank you so much for your comments. Holly said Susan is awesome. I recommend her as an editor for other human trafficking related projects. And Nita said, yes, she is Holly, a truly good person. And Jade said, you are amazing. You so inspire me every day. I love you. I think she's referring to you, Wendy.
So I didn't want to call out.
You.
I didn't want to call out
Nina,
but if Nina's watched, she's the friend that my mom that introduced me and Susan. So it's just like, it's like serendipity. You know, I did not know either of those people. I didn't know Nina or Susan, and it just happened to be, you know, people meeting each other, going, hey, let's connect this up. And so I think it was meant to be.
Wow, how nice. And please, for those who are just joining us, the link is in the description above this video to get Wendy's book, And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. And if you are watching on YouTube, the link is in the description below. If you are watching at home, the link is on your screen. So follow that link and go grab your own copy. So after doing your book, and boom, it's live on Amazon. People can now buy it. How have you been marketing the book?
That's where I'm not good at. So I tell people to be prepared. Because, you know, I just thought, okay, you publish a book and everybody's going to come buy it. You know, if it's a good book, everybody will come buy it. But no, you actually have to market yourself. You have to be out there. I feel like the way that I feel when I talk about my book is that I'm throwing it at people's foreheads. Here, look, read my book. Here, read my book. And I'm not that type of person. Like I said, I'm very shy. I don't talk about all these people. You know, I'm Facebook friends with other authors, and they go, yeah, every single time I'm at the airport, at least 2 or 3 people buy my book because I'm always talking about it and handing out my card. I don't talk to people at the airport. I'm not like, so yeah. So my first advice to anybody that may be thinking about, you know, writing a book, know that for it to actually sell, you have to really put yourself out there, really be very proactive and always, you know, talking about it. And if you're not comfortable with that, you know, you know, I don't want to discourage anybody from writing a book. It's just, I think most of us that write a book, we think, oh yeah, I can make some, you know, money, you know, maybe I'll be a, you know, #1 bestseller. I'll make some money. And it's not like that. You know, I mean, if I'm not actively going out and, you know, handing out my card to everybody and talking to everybody, it doesn't sell a lot. And so, but that's okay for me. It's like, I really feel that for me, the people that read the book, that are moved by the book, that's good enough. That's good enough. If it's helped somebody, then that's good enough. If it has helped somebody to understand what a, you know, victim and survivor go through, then, you know, that's good enough.
Wow. Holly just said, yes, writing a book is hard. Selling it is even harder. And Jane said, your book is so real.
Oh.
So, thanks. So what would you say has been your greatest challenge in the whole process?
My greatest challenge in the entire process, I would say that marketing, you know, trying to get people to purchase it and read it, and write reviews, tell people. if you've read my book, if you like it, please go write a review on Amazon. I mean, Amazon reviews really help. It's something about like when your book will get shown to other people. Yes, you can Google, human trafficking, or even on Amazon, you can search for human trafficking or sex trafficking. My book won't even show up. so it's word of mouth. So if you've read my book, if you like it, please share it on Facebook, write a review on Amazon. But yeah, I'd say the hardest part was doing this marketing now, because I think the writing part was actually very, very therapeutic. Like I said, there were, months that went by that all I did was just, remembered everything that had happened to the best of my ability. And I just wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And that it was very, even though it was tough at times, it was extremely therapeutic. And so I would say even just for the therapy alone, it was worth it.
Wow, this is a very great point you just made. So would you suggest that anyone who has gone through a very tragic experience should try to write a book about their experience
I
to
would
help
not.
towards the healing process?
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't say don't do it with the intention of writing a book. My intention, I think, was just getting it all down on paper. I wanted it to come out of me and put it on paper so I could more like visualize it. But yes, I think writing, anybody that's gone through a tragic time in their life, sit down and write it all out. Write it all out. Let it, let it manifest itself outside of you, and then make the decision. Okay, is this something that I really want the public to know? I think that's another thing. It's like, what, I spent a lot of time. Do I want everybody to know this? Because there were some, when I came out with my book, I was working in the real world, is what I call it. And my employer did not know my past. So that was really difficult to navigate. Okay, all somebody has to do is Google my name. My book is going to show up. They're going to be able to read things about me that I don't know if I want the entire world to know. And so it really took me a while to navigate and to come to grips with, you know what, this is who I am. That was my life. And I'm okay with the world knowing.
That is a very strong point you made also about writing memoirs. What you are writing, do you really want the whole world to know that you had this experience or not? It's a question that everyone who has gone through a tragic experience need to answer honestly to themselves to be
Yeah.
able to either go forward with it or not.
Yeah.
Holly made another comment. She said, yes, writing was very therapeutic for me as well. Yes, writing can be so
Yeah.
therapeutic. And when you mentioned earlier about just, emotional throw up, it was kind of similar for me when I was writing my first book. I was crying so much while doing that I just save and just leave the computer for some months and then come back to it. So, but that means I was even lucky that I was able to do it in 1 year, but it took like 14 years. That was a really, really long time to
Yeah.
actually come out with the book. So that 14-year period that you were writing and just writing and writing away, what were the what would you say were takeaways from those periods of just writing before you actually
Well,
got to publishing?
yeah. See, well, the thing is, a lot of times, some of the times, it was with the purpose of this will become a book. Other times it was, no, I'm just writing just for therapeutic reasons. Um, there was a lot of back and forth for me. There were, you know, I would write thinking, okay, this is going to be a book. And then, nope, I'm not going to let the world know this. And so I think that is why. So there were times that there were 2 years would go by where I would not touch it, where I was not writing, where I decided, nope, I'm not going to do this. And then 2 years would go by, and then I would change my mind and go, you know, maybe I should do this. And so I'd start working on it again. And then I would decide, nope, this isn't what I want right now. And so I think that's where you don't want to push yourself, um, because you may regret it later. So that's the thing, is you really want to make sure that you give yourself time to completely come to grips with what's going on.
Okay. Oh, thanks so much. Again, thank you for joining us. For those who are just joining us or those watching the replay, thank you. We have on the show today Wendy Barnes, the author of And Life Continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. The link to our book is on the description of this video above, so click that link and go grab your copy. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description below. If you're watching at home on TV, the link is on your screen, so follow that and go grab. Yeah, it's your own copy. So thank you for bringing the book to show. See, that is the pretty book there. Go and get your own copy. And if you've read it, go and write your review on Amazon. Please go and write your review. Support the author and write your review. Okay, so Wendy, there are some people who want to do their own book and they are struggling with it. They don't know whether they should do it or not to do it, or it's tedious or it's hard. What would you say to encourage those people?
What would I say to encourage them? So they want to write their own book, but it ends up being really difficult and hard. I would say get the basics down first. And this is what I tell people when they're starting out in the process. I tell them, just get it out on the paper. Just emotional throw up. You don't have to, don't worry about the grammar. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just get the stories out. Get the stories out of you. Then once you have all of that, then kind of revisit, okay, do I want to form this into a book or not? Knowing the world is going to know. You know, asking yourself, do you want to use a different name? Maybe you just want, you know, you don't want to use your own name for the book. Don't get discouraged by publishers or agents, literary agents. I sent my book to, you know, manuscript to many, many different agents, and everybody said, nope, 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 nope. Until I finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it on my own. And that's what's so wonderful, is that anybody can publish a book on Amazon, you know, through Create Space, anybody can, you know, publish a book. So definitely take your time, you know, find a good editor, find a really good editor, because just because you think it's good doesn't mean that it is good. And so you want those other eyes to look at it. You know, what is the purpose of this book? I mean, one thing that you know, I wish now that I had made my book shorter. You know, back then, but it was like, I didn't know what to take out. What do I take out? What do I take out? But a lot of people have told me, Wendy, it takes too long to read this. And so it's like, gosh, you know, I wish I had, you know, shortened it up, you know, and I think my editor told me that. With Susan, it told me, Wendy, I think we need to make it shorter. And it's like, but what would we take out? I think everything was, you know, everything that's in there is very valuable to make certain points, and to provide people with understanding. So, you know, so yeah, my advice for people with emotional throw up, and then don't be discouraged by, you know, publishers or literary agents saying no. Don't get discouraged, and keep checking in with yourself. Do I not want this? What do I see my life as? Don't think that it's going to be the, oh, I'm going to publish my book. It's going to be number one. I'll be rich and I can, go. Yeah, no, it doesn't really work like that.
Thanks for that. Oh, thank you for coming in, Annette. She says, good day, Queen Fabulous. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Annette. Thanks for coming. That is really a great point to make, about not assuming that once you do a book, you're going to turn to an overnight automatic millionaire as a result of the book. It does take a while. It takes time. And about your book being too long, perhaps what could have been done, instead of like thinking of what do I take away or not, perhaps another option could be making it into a series or coming up with a sequel.
Yeah.
So that part one, half of it will be the first part of the story, and then the sequel will be the second part of the story. So people will still be able to get the whole story, but in like little bits. What do you think about that?
No, I really like that. I really like that. And a lot of people, there's a saying, sorry, my doggy had to join us. She's down there crying.
Yes,
yes. The person says, how do you get,
please? Yeah.
So she said,
what did you say?
How do you sell your first? So people say, how you get more first book is by writing a second book. And so a lot of people have told me I need to write another book. They're like, Wendy, why don't you write another book? And I've thought about writing a book on my healthcare experiences. I never thought in a billion interested in my healthcare experiences. Who on earth would be interested in that? But there's a lot of interest because I was trafficked for so long.
Yes.
And I have so many experiences with healthcare providers. So I've thought about that. But gosh, just all that I think about, gosh, it took me 14 years to write my first book. Do I really want to spend 14 years? Even though I don't think it would take as long. But yeah, I think that's a really good thing, is like make it a series. So I don't know, maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Yes. please. And it's really good, that topic you just mentioned about healthcare. It's so important. There is more than likely that a victim of human trafficking will pass through the healthcare system while they are still being trafficked, and healthcare providers will not know or don't know the signs to look out for. So it will be really good to do something with the experience about, when I was saying this at the hospital, or I behaved this way. This is a clue that could have been helpful at the time, that healthcare providers can use. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be a short, a short guide. For them, it's still a book. And that's one thing I learned too about doing multiple books. As an author, you just have to keep putting out books. Putting out books, except we don't want to go that route. So, please, audience members, do you have questions for Wendy? Oh, Holly too said, yes, I agree. I want to write another book, but I dread doing all that work. please. And okay, both of you, I'll be glad to work with you to make the process easier. Honestly, now it's really, that's one thing I've learned about books, and that is part of why I'm doing this show and doing the magazine, for people to see how they can do this thing that looks so difficult and hard, or for someone who has gone through that hard experience in doing it, to see how easy they could push it out. Sometimes we want to put everything. It's like, okay, even with food, we have the appetizer, the main course, and then the dessert. We don't put all three of them in one plate, right? We don't even use the same silverware to eat all of them sometimes. So it's the same with book. If we try to look at it that way on how to make it simple, where you just do a little bit at a time and put it out, a little bit more and put it out. It will also be helpful for those who are reading to digest it quickly and look forward to more. Look forward to more and more and more. And those authors who make a lot of money on their books is because they do it that way. So they do a little and then keep you hanging to be hungry for more, and then they put another one out, and then put another one out. And I really like what you said about using
that's good advice.
A pen name. Yes, a pen name if you don't want your name to be on the book. Like, when you said that, I remembered what my son told me 2 days ago, because he's in the creative arts class for writing, and he said the teacher told them that they can write a book with a pen name, that you don't have to use your real name, and that Dr. Seuss is not the real name. You know, so I was like, oh, I didn't know that Dr. Seuss was not the real name.
Wow, I didn't know either.
So we're learning together. Yes, I didn't know. When I said, so it's not the real name, he said, no, it's not the real name. Like, wow, I didn't know that. And we all know Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss. So I kind of really like the different ways that we can go with books, where there is no restriction, just be you and just create. So our time is running out. Thank you so much again, our audience members. Please go and get Wendy's book, And Life Continues: Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. The link is on the description of this video above, and if you are watching on YouTube, the link is in the description below. If you are watching at home, the link is on your screen, so grab that link and go get your own copy. And our fabulous author Wendy, thank you so much. Our time is rounding up, so what would be your last word for our audience members today?
Never stop laughing. Just yeah, just remember that, you know, when life happens to everybody. Life sometimes sucks. And the best way to get through those hard times is to in it. You know, just that's what has worked for me. You know, sometimes you just have to laugh at, oh my God, can it get any worse? Yeah, it can get worse. So just about it and make the best of it. And, you know, be kind to one another. Be kind to one another. You never know. You know, I think back people who have affected me so profoundly, and I don't even know who those people are. A lot of times they smiled at me when I needed somebody to smile. They encouraged me when I needed encouragement. And, you know, so be kind to one another, have compassion for one another, and never stop laughing.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you today. And you know how we roll on the show, we end with a dance. So are you ready for part 2 of our dance?
Okay.
So give me thumbs up if you can hear it loud enough.
Here, come here. Come here. Okay, we dance with the doggies again.
Oh, hi! Nice.
They dance, you see him? Hello. You want to come up here, Scruffy? Scruffy. Okay, Scruffy. Do it, Scruffy. Scruffy wants to dance.